What's up, friends? Welcome back to... Oh, crap. I stopped doing this introduction. Now my editor will roast me again. Hi, Harstem. Late game zerg is Imba. Especially versus Broodlords. And I think a big part of that is the GG Lords. Viper and Corruptor combo. Please tell me if it is Imba or if it is Imba. Maybe show us how pro gamers deal with GG Lords, because I see no solution. Every single time I play a macro game versus Zerg, it ends up like this. I didn't have the best fights, but I thought I played a better game than my opponent. Until he decided to win by building aptly named GG Lords. Sincerely, your fan from Canada. Alright, fan from Canada. Main complaint. GG Lords, Broodlords, in the late game of PvZ. The little two side complaints. Corruptor and Viper. So we can really see this as a bird, where the body of the bird is the GG Lord and the wings are the Corruptor and the Viper. And our issue is that the bird is pooping on our car. And in this analogy, the car is our MMR in StarCraft 2. And the bird is the Zerg player that annoys us. So now that we've established exactly what we're dealing with, let's see if there's a way to shoot this bird out of the air, so to speak. And most of all, let's see if it is even possible to shoot this bird out of the air, because this bird, of course, might have anti-bullet armor. Kevlar. He's wearing a Kevlar vest. And Protoss players don't really have Kevlar penetrating bullets. So we need to figure a couple of things out, of course. First of all, are Broodlords broken? And then secondary of all, are the wings broken? The Corruptor Viper, are they broken? But our main concern is going to be the Broodlords. We're going to be having a close look of everything that Greta does. From now on, just referred to as Greta, or our Canadian friend. But yeah, let's just have a look to see if there's any mistakes that he made at all, or if it indeed is the Broodlords. Now, I believe this is a game from Diamond. Our friend is a Canadian, so I'm assuming he lives in Canada as well and plays on the North American server. Now, first mistake is not having a wall at the time where speed is finished. That's a mistake that's going to cost you a lot of games against link floods. Imagine this guy left the tab open and kept building links, and all of a sudden you get link flooded. That's not very nice. Usually you drown and you lose your MMR. So I'd always say try to get your wall done before 3:30 in the game. It's a little quick tip here by the professional, guys. Just write it down in your little notebook. It's like, oh, it's a good tip. 3:30. Try to get that gateway down. It should be possible with Stargate as well. You just get it after the Oracle and after the third pylon. And you don't have to stop pro production for that. We see Greta is stopping pro production for a bit. Gets double gas before the Nexus. Not the tightest build that I've seen in my life, or the greatest build, but it looks fine. You know, it's somewhat similar to a build that the build that I shown casually explained, where you just get a fast third base, go into Robo, get an observer out for scouting info, maybe try to do some damage with adepts, maybe keep them at home, doesn't matter too much. So let's have a look at these two oracles, see what they're gonna be capable of doing here. Two oracles, of course, the key number. As I've discussed a couple of episodes ago, 2 is a lot better than 1. About 50% better. 100% better. Fleet beacon on the way. Now this is interesting. This is not in any of my build orders. This is... So the thing here is that it doesn't make a lot of sense with the Robo. I like Robo if you're going to be going into Forged Twilight, but if you're going to be going into Fleet Beacon, I think it's better to just get a faster Fleet Beacon and a second Stargate. So I'm not even going to necessarily hate on this build too much, right? The Fleet Beacon I don't necessarily hate, but the Robo just is a little bit senseless in that case, I believe, at least. It also... warping in 3 Stalkers, it's going to cost you a lot of gas. 3 Stalkers is basically equal to a Stargate, right? Gas wise, and gas is going to be the limiting factor for TOS when you're doing a heavy tech build like Carrier. So this is one of those things where you just see so many inaccuracies in a build, like the Robo, the Observer. We're talking 175 gas already, 3 more Stalkers, another 150 gas, and you warp in 2 Sentries, another 200 gas, and all of this is just delaying your carriers from starting, you know. So even if I don't like the build to start with, even if I would have liked the build going fast carriers, I still wouldn't have liked your execution. So that is, you know, if there was a form about this build order, I would have to tick no twice. Execution, no, and do I like it? Also, no. Even not considering the execution. Your oracles have done, well, is that 5 workers? Yeah, 5 worker kills. I'm not gonna flame you for that either. I think that's completely fine. Now, well, of course your opponents aren't great at defending. Like you see a lot of openness. I think you could have gotten a bit more, but you know, for your level, this is completely fine. You know, you got 7 kills. You're up in workers. You're getting your carriers out. This is what we call a decent start. Now the real question for me is, how the hell are you gonna lose the Broodlords if you're going straight into carrier and you're gonna be up like 7 upgrades or something like that? See, this guy's playing Hydra Ling. He's still on 61 work. I mean, you're up in workers, getting cannons already. I wouldn't even mind the fort base pretty fast. I guess as long as you don't see any drones on the fort, it's not really necessary, but I wouldn't have minded it. So yeah, you don't have any carriers out yet, and we're already 7 minutes and 30 seconds in game. I think this could be done a lot smoother, a lot smoother. Just gonna speed up a bit. If the theme of this game is going to be camping behind cannons and carriers, then, you know, we don't want to sit here for the next 7 days. Hydra Bane attack. Okay, you're aware of this. Not really, but you're also, you should know that something is coming. I mean, you have units in position. You have what, 3 carriers, which can be used at this point. It probably with the 3 carriers and the cannons, a couple of decent force fields should be enough to hold something like this, which is nice. Now, you're not getting any real info when it comes to worker count, when it comes to tech, that kind of stuff. You're only really seeing unit movement, which, if you're paying attention to that, should be good enough. That should be an easy win for you, right? You also stopped carrier production for some reason. Ah, you got supply loss. Well, that's another minor mistake. We'll add it to the list. Alright, so this fight should be kind of going into your... at least going your way somewhat. Especially if you fight near cannons, right? There's absolutely no way this is going to do anything. So I like continuing carriers. I'm not a big fan of charge or immortals here. Whenever you play carriers, or fast carriers like you do, actually, let's hold that thought. Ah, okay. Let's do that one more time, alright? The beautiful force field that blocks nothing. All banelines connect. Alright. As you're gonna most likely clean up this army, you do still have some interceptors left over, you have some stalkers which do damage. That's all good. Now, when you think of carriers as a unit, what are their main attackers, the main guys that kill them, right? So let's just go over that. Those are Hydras and Corruptors, majority of the time. So if you're rushing into carriers, your follow-up should be anticipating whatever it is he's going to be doing. So you want to be scouting, hey, is it Hydras? And if it's Hydras, your answer is going to be Storm. If it's Corruptors, your answer is either going to be Storm or Archon, or it's going to be Void Ray, so you add more Stargates. Now in general, I always like to rush out a couple of Templars if you do go into fast carrier, because if your opponent actually has a very high Hydra count and you don't have Storm, and they get good upgrades, and I'm talking like 2-2, for example, like +2 attack and +2 carapace. This guy went +2 melee instead of carapace. Then carriers actually will lose all their interceptors to the Hydras because you don't kill the Hydras fast enough. So I always say try to rush out Storm. Like, Immortals don't contribute anything to this army that the carriers aren't already contributing. You're basically like they're not useful here, the Immortal, you know? Immortals will be able to kill roaches, but if he's getting roaches, you've already won the game, because roaches can't shoot up. If he's getting lurkers, Immortals would be great, but carriers destroy lurkers. So the Immortal here is a unit that has no use whatsoever. The charge lots I mean, I understand why you would want to use them for harass, but do that after you get the things that you really need, like your Storm, perhaps another Stargate. You have 2 right now, you could be getting 3. Dark Shrine is a luxury thing as well. Like, don't get me wrong, you have plenty of money, but your priorities are completely incorrect. Like, you're pretending like it's a normal game, but you rushed out carriers. Stop pretending like it's a normal game. This is not normal. You know, this is the opposite of normal. It's weird. Nothing wrong with being weird, but at least embrace it a little bit. Can't go around, you know, walking in these long coats that cover your knees, all in black, and then pretend to like Ariana Grande, you know? I know you don't. I know you don't, Greta. You don't like Ariana Grande. That is pop. You like goth rock or goth metal. See what I mean? Another good real-life analogy here. Live on the Analogy channel. I'm your host, Kevin Negoni. Where was I? I broke my own thought process. Right, Storm. There we go. 12 minutes in. It's a little late, but yeah, you get it in the end. So I'm gonna scratch that off. No, I'm not gonna scratch it off my list. That's still a complaint. But the yeah, I'm still complaining about that. You should have gotten it faster. Like, this army dies to Storm. Like, the flies in my room die to my fly swatter. Real fast. As long as I manage to catch them. It's the same with Hydras. As long as you hit them, like, they're gonna die real quick. So, 2DTs, I mean, these are all titles. Because I know I'm picking on the titles, but this is not the title. Like, you want to be getting a 3rd Stargate at this point. You're on 8 gas, man. You could be on 4 Stargates. While still getting all of these things as well. Producing carriers. Something that I also wouldn't mind you doing at this point is just moving out. You have a pretty powerful force. You're basically on your peak at this point, right? You have +2 upgrades, you have Storm, you have a decent carrier count. Anything from here, he's just gonna be more prepared, you know? Even if I still think it's completely possible to be the Zerg that has the perfect army against carriers, it's better to hit when they don't have a perfect army against carriers. And there's a reason why in war most people try to do surprise attacks. Like, you might still be able to win the war without doing a surprise attack, but it becomes a hell of a lot easier if your opponent is drinking tea when you come in with the guns, you know? It just makes life a little more convenient for you and less convenient for the other guy. So always try to, whenever you have like a power spike of some sort, so when your Storm finishes and upgrade finishes, try to use that. And there will be people like, oh, that's a timing attack, I'm a macro player. Well, I don't really care what you are. Like, you're just gonna use your timing advantages. You don't use your timing advantage, like, no matter if you're a macro player or a cheeser, you're just an idiot as well. You know, and both macro players and cheesers can be idiots. That's the beauty of it. It's not exclusive to any type of person. Instead, you go back, after having a fantastic trade, you killed literally every single Viper, you damaged a bunch of his Corruptors, and you were still maxed, and your +3 just finished. So right now, he has 1/1 upgrades on Corruptors, he has no carapace, he has 1 carapace upgrades, he has +2, and you have +3 on air. Like, this is as good as it's gonna get, upgrade-wise for you. It is as good as it's going to get unit-wise as well. Like, his army doesn't look very scary. The only thing I wish is that you didn't have your Immortals and these were like 2 extra Archons instead, and your Stalkers were dead. Alright, we'll ignore that for now. Pretend like it never happened. Our boy Greta probably used to have it. What is that? If I don't speak to him, maybe he will just go away. Poor Greta. Oh my god. Alright. Let's just analyze this situation real fast, alright? Ding 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 ding. So, you know you are on creep. You know your opponent has full vision on you. Complete vision. Whenever you're on creep, this is the scariest moment in your life, okay? Nothing is gonna beat this. Like, absolutely nothing. Like your entire life, this is what matters. This is what should scare you. Creep. He has full vision. His units move 5 times as fast as they usually do. And what you decide is the correct play is to move your Templar and Archon away from defending your carriers and attack rocks in the middle of the map. The only reason why I can see that you would be attacking these rocks in the middle of the map is because you're scared of their intellect. You might not be the smartest person in this portion of the map anymore. Because holy crap, dude, this is some insane levels of stupidity. Like, what's wrong with you? You're on creep, you know he has Vipers, you know he has Corruptors. There you go. Lose a carrier, lose another carrier, hell. Lose another carrier. 3 carriers, gone for free, before your Templars are even back. If he continued focus firing, you probably would have lost every single carrier ever. Like, this fight, you should have completely destroyed it. Like, you're still up in supply, don't get me wrong, but you're probably gonna lose some stuff on the retreat. You're out of Storms, you're out of Interceptors. Like, you should have destroyed this fight so hard, dude. Like, this shouldn't even be close. Here, this is where he should have left. And this is where he should have been sending me the replay.
Gyarados is completely broken. I played perfectly, I had way better creep spread than him. But in the end I just lost.
Well, this is what should have happened. In a different timeline, where you're not so threatened by the IQ of a rock, you would have won the game here. You would have gotten 25 points. You would have laughed to yourself, stupid zerg. I'm building Hydras against Storm. Corruptors against Carriers. No, you need Infestors. Then you would have laughed at his Iotis episode that I would have made, making fun of his unit control or something, or the way that he did things. But no, this is the timeline we're in, my friend. And are these two stuck? Oh no. Greta. Man, they look really pretty. Like decoration on the wall, you know? Not gonna be too useful anyway this game. So he pees on your Nexus. You come to the rescue with your Archons and other things. So not really to the rescue. So this is another reason why I said before, I think it's good to have more Stargates. Oh yeah, 4 Stargates actually. Okay, I take back. Yeah, 4 Stargates, that's nice. I'm a fan of that. I'm a big fan of that. 5 Zealot run-bys, trying to do some damage. I also don't mind that completely. Don't get me wrong, you're still in a good spot. Units lost, you're still ahead. Like, you're... The problem isn't with where you are in the game, it's a problem where you should... What are you doing? Where you should be in the game. And right now where you should be on the game is probably not here on the map. Like, currently, you're not maxed. You have a crap ton of supply in Stargates. Like, why would you want to be on the map right now? Like, the carrier army is the best when it's maxed, basically, or getting close to maxed. You also really want to get rid of crap units before you go do something. And what I mean with that is that you're... What the hell, you have 9 Stalkers? Like, Stalkers are completely useless in this situation. Please don't get them, okay? You don't want Stalkers here. The things you do want are either a Mothership for invisibility, more Templar, more carriers, maybe a couple of Void Rays. I mean, we see a big Corruptor army. Now, I always say Void Ray is the most useless unit until Corruptors come out. Then it's still very low on the list, but it's at least slightly more useful than a Stalker. Archons are nice to have, as long as there's no Broodlords. Archons are completely fine as well. I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, try, alright? Just try to do your best. Just get rid of the Stalkers. Okay, and there's 2 ways you can get rid of the Stalkers. You can either assist them in suicide, or you can just send them in here, which also is practically some type of weird suicide. So just do that, alright? Just send them in there, and right click it. Now, another thing that you've been lacking for a while now is Oracles. Oracles with Revelation. Well, actually you have one, you're just not using it. Oracles with Revelation are a very powerful tool at seeing where your opponent's Viper Corruptor army is. And it really helps in the micro against... Why were your Templars in the corner? Why? Why would you do that? It's just a little bit sad. This feeling inside. Storm, 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 storm. Zone him out with storms. I love how you have like 25 supply over here just chilling, not doing anything. Life is life, I guess, eh? La 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 la. Yeah, some more harass. Now, don't get me wrong. Are you still ahead? I was gonna say you're still ahead, but I'm not sure anymore. You have good income. Problem is your gas is a little low. I think it's fine still for you, honestly. His army is still utter crap. He has Hydra Corruptor. But your army, whenever you lose carriers, you decide to either build more Stalkers or you add more DTs. Like, just build more carriers, dude. We need higher carrier count. Observer speed. Okay. How many Templar is there? 11. That's slightly too high. I guess 24 Hydras? I think 8 Templar would have been fine, but 11, you know, I'm not gonna blame you for it. The main issue is with the Stalkers here. Because really, if we look at what your army consists of, it's mediocre at best, you know? You have what? You have 8 Zealots, 9 Stalkers, 4 Carriers, 4 Archons. Really, the main DPS is coming from the Storms here, which is fine as long as there's no Broodlords or any type of major anti-ground. Like, you don't actually have good units that do DPS. Alright? What is that? How many Corruptors is there? 22. Well, Mr. Corruptor, man. Let's see what you can do here. I honestly still like it for the toss here. Like, our boy Greta made some mistakes, and his army might look like crap. And sure, his run-bys haven't really been working, and he just lost his bottom right base, but he still has an army that should be feared. Oh my god, what is this? Okay, there we go. Good movement. 4 there's only 4 carriers. It really is too little. You need more carriers. But every single time he loses some type of units, he just rebuilds Zealots. Or he gets more Archons. Right now we're at 6 Archons. That's gonna get bleeped out. Is that a bad word? Some creep denial. I don't even mind that. That seems good. Alright, here comes the fight. Templar, 11 Templar. Don't forget, that's the main DPS of the army. We get 2-3 Storms hitting half a Corruptor. Okay, now we have some Storms hitting stuff. That's good. And the fight changed for the better there towards the end. You saw at the start how bad it went. If the Templar aren't there, like, this is pretty key. You know, like, imagine you are an army and you have a secret weapon. And the secret weapon is a tank. Alright, it's a massive tank. Imagine we're fighting in Roman Empire times, right? The Roman Empire led by Julius Caesar against the Vikings. Alright? These lived at around a similar time. So let's square these two guys off. Now, the Vikings didn't have guns, they just used swords. Same with the Roman Empire. Now imagine that the Roman Empire managed to construct a vehicle that is a tank and it shoots massive bullets and makes stuff explode. The problem with the tank is that it is rather slow. And a great war general like Julius Caesar might understand that the rest of his army, in order to survive, will move at the same speed as the secret weapon, the tank. Otherwise, what's gonna happen is your tank is gonna arrive when all your infantry has died. That's not very smart. Now, Greta is the Roman Empire and the Templars are his tank. The problem here is that we have Greta rather than Julius Caesar as the war general. And these Vikings, they're gonna be doing some real damage if they don't get shot by the tank. That's pushing it even for me. Yeah, this is honestly a little terrible. What? How is it that whenever I get a replay from anyone below Masters, that the majority of the titles just spend storming their own units? It's just something they enjoy. It's like one of these weird games they play in Masters. He's actually running out of gas. He really should be prioritizing getting gas somewhere now. He has 4 extractors, 4 gas geysers, assimilators, there we go. I like that he's using zealots now for run buys, but this is something that happens very often, alright? Actually, it's gonna end up well. But very often when people have only minerals left, they start using massive zealot run buys, and they also stop caring about them. So they just pretend like, it's just money, you know, I can just put it into zealots, I don't have gas anyway. And then later on, when they're all of a sudden completely out of bank, they go like, oh crap, I wish I just had 50 minerals again so I could rebuild this nexus. Well, shouldn't have warped in 25 zealots and send them straight into their death. This is a very common occurrence. Honestly, this game still looks pretty good for our Protoss player. Mineral count is extremely low for the Zerg. His army is utter crap. Like, if we think of the ground army now, and now there's a move which you can do, which is absolutely genius. It's called a tech switch. So rather than staying on the same composition for the entire game, you try to react to what your opponent does. Now this might... That's painful. This might sound revolutionary to some of you guys, but imagine you see an army consisting of 31 Corruptors and 7 Hydras. Now there's 2 things you can do. You can either continue carrier production, so your opponent already has the counter ready, or you can start working on a massive ground force. Now, what Greta does over here, not surprisingly, is he continues carrier production, because what is better to counter 31 Corruptors than 2 carriers? I like the way you're thinking here, Greta. I like the way you're thinking. Because if you would have focused too much on killing the ground, you might have accidentally won the game. I mean, there's 7 Hydras and 24 Lings right now. With your 16 Zealots, 10 Stalkers, you probably can just A-move across the map. Now, imagine that the money that you just put into carriers, you put into Blink or something like that. Then even if there's a low count of Broodlords, you can actually do something. Because there's no ground force to protect them. That does sound very smart, doesn't it? But no, carriers is the way. I love it. That's good stuff. Because right now the only thing Aqua Black can actually beat is an air army. He's like, oh my god, please, for the sake of everything that's holy, you know, please don't show up with more than 3 ground units, because he can't actually kill them. No, he gets 6 Broodlords. And now he's actually getting a slightly scarier Broodlord count. And at this point, you could still say, well, if you would have just built a ground army now, you wouldn't have done anything. No, you would have done something. You would have won the freaking game, dude. Even if there's 9 or 10 Broodlords and you have 16, 17 Stalkers, if there's no ground army to defend the Broodlords, you could just blink under and target them down. There's absolutely no problem. The thing is, when you have carriers, you're not going to be blinking under and killing stuff. What you're going to do is you're going to be fighting the Corruptors. Because in your head, the carrier is the most important unit. And the way to preserve the carrier is to kill the Corruptors. So instead of just killing the only thing that can kill ground, in this case the Broodlord, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to fight the Corruptors while your entire ground army dies to 8 or 9 Broodlords and 3 Zealots, or 3 Lings and 5 Hydras, you know? That's what's going to happen here. We're going to watch it. We're going to laugh at him. Like, this is not a Tempest. It's the ultimate cock move at this point. Oh, there goes the first carrier. Oh crap. First carrier gone. Oh no. Second carrier. Man, what a surprise. Like, literally getting one-shot by the 95 Corruptors that are still on the map. And all of a sudden Aqua Black says, wait a second. I think I might be winning this. I mean, I only have 21 workers. I don't have a ground army to speak of whatsoever. And my army is literally the slowest in the game. Like, even leapfrogging siege tanks move faster across the map than Broodlords do. But I don't think that's gonna stop Aqua Black from doing what he's about to do. Which is probably... Okay, there's 2 scenarios here. Either Greta is gonna stay at home and defend against this army and die, because he's gonna be fighting the Corruptors mainly. Or Greta is gonna do a desperation attack, even though he's up 50 workers. Oh, it looks like we're gonna get scenario 1 over here. This is... I absolutely love this. Now, the reason why I love this is because this army, in a million years, can't get back. It's just not possible. You can't get back. This low bases. If he's all the way over here, and the toss, it needs to make a mature decision here. He's like, alright, this base is gone. Gonzo. you know, and you just give it up, and you kill everything else on the map, either with run-bys or with your main army, you're gonna be completely fine. But instead what he does is he takes a fight on a ramp while being slaughtered by Broodlords from the side. This is what I was talking about earlier, by the way. You see, Broodlords are not getting attacked. He's killing the Corruptors, which the Corruptors have no real use. Like, honestly, almost no real use. Like, they do need to kill the carriers and the Tempest, but that obviously is gonna happen. There's like 25 of them, you know? And by the time that Greta realized, oh, wait a second, I don't have air units to protect anymore, maybe I should have attacked the Broodlords earlier, because his army actually isn't that scary. Now he's getting Blink, he's getting a Mothership, he's like, huh, wait a second. What if I had 25 Stalkers here? Man, that would have been really neat. But instead, he doesn't have Blink, he doesn't have 25 Stalkers. He went 5 Carriers, 2 Void Rays and Mothership. And now he's about to A-move with Zealots. 3 Stalkers without Blink. A single Templar with 2 Storms. And 3 Archons that are killing Broodlings underneath these Broodlords. Now this is peak StarCraft. When I picked up this game 10 years ago, I didn't know quite what peak StarCraft was. But after watching this game evolve over the past 10 years, I know that it doesn't get much better than this. This is what it is. It's units that can't attack Broodlords, walking under the Broodlords to kill the Broodlings as they pop. That is what peak StarCraft looks like. Now here we have the Desperation base trade, which he also could have done earlier when it wasn't a Desperation move, but actually a good play. That's the beauty of a lot of Desperation moves. A lot of Desperation moves are actually kind of good. The problem is, they're not good because you're already dead at that point. You know, going for a base trade most of the time only happens when people realize they're really far behind and go like, oh, the only way for me to win is a base trade. Well, imagine how good that only way to win was when you were like light years ahead. Like, you could have done that as well. You know, you don't need to wait to be behind until you start pulling out the good moves. It's a common occurrence I see in low-level games especially. Where people go like, it's no time to base trade, I'm ahead. Well, I mean, if you get a good opportunity to base trade and you're really far ahead, you probably should take it. You know, you probably should take it. Now, we basically have Greta do what I recommended Greta to do about, what was it, 25? Yeah, 5 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes ago. 7 minutes ago. We have a bunch of Blink Stalkers. At this point, sadly, there's also 23 Hydras again, so there's actually some anti-ground. There is still a couple of Storms, but I mean, if he gets the Broodlords separated, it's still completely possible. You just right-click Broodlords. Okay, never mind. He absolutely died. And he did get the Broodlords, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna be enough, guys. I don't think so. I mean, this is one of the final mining bases. We have some Zealots over here doing nothing. Just making sure that this base never gets up again. Oh, there's an empty base as well. That's great. Let's get it real good. Kill the hatchery. Don't kill any of the tech. There we go. That's better. Gets one more base. Yeah, this is rough to watch, guys. Rough to watch. We still have one base mining for black, aqua black, and we have nothing for Greta here. So I think this is going to be it. Let's pop forward. Now, usually I just end the replay here, but I have a feeling that Greta, after such a long game of disappointment upon disappointment, might have a couple of words for our opponent. So I just want to make sure that, you know, we don't miss any major BM. There we go. This is gonna be it. Can't say something, Greta. Damn. Wait, are you actually still playing the game? 15 Stalkers. There's some income again. Maybe it's possible. No way, right? No, alright. Time to leave, Greta. Stop wasting our time. Say something funny as well. Oh, this base actually going down. 22 supply against 80. Neither players have income anymore. Okay, no, this base still has income. No GG. Oh, Greta. Well, I didn't GG because my opponent definitely didn't deserve it. Greta. Ay. Where do we start? We start at the start. Your early game wasn't that great, right? We didn't like the build order. We didn't like the way you executed it. I didn't like that your carrier production was picking up steam so slowly. Should have added a third Stargate way faster. Your macro in general was quite bad. You were floating 2k resources throughout almost the entirety of the game. The way you took fights was bad. High Templar often trailing behind. Unit composition, even though you had a lot of time to craft it, didn't really feel very powerful. The lack of carriers, too many stalkers. Then after a while he only had like 10 ground units and 31 Corruptors, you continued carrier production rather than switching back into ground. Your blink was too late. Your harass wasn't that bad. You did a lot of damage with Zealot runbys, and I'm proud of you for that. But I'm sad to tell you that that's not gonna mask all the incompetence you have shown in this game, which is a big list, honestly. Broodlords are good, Corruptor Vipers are good, but your unit movement was absolutely terrible. Your unit composition crafting was absolutely F tier. That's the lowest tier, by the way. There's nothing below that. It's just you. If we had a tier maker, you'd be on the bottom list, Greta. I'm sorry to tell you, but you suck. And oh, do you suck hard, my friend. Oh, yes, you do. Alright. That's going to be it for me today. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel up here. And if you want to support me, I have my Twitter to follow, my Patreon to send me cash, my Twitch where I stream daily high quality content. Don't forget to check that out. There's more video here in the bottom. Bye bye.